Finally, it is spring in Mongolia. The snow is starting to melt. Summer is coming really fast. And if you know, in Mongolia, the summers are so short. So there's many projects that we want to get done during the summer. So this is kind of the time where we're really assessing what we can get done in the time frame that we have for the summer. But as the winter is coming to an end, many people have been asking, how is the greenhouse doing? How did it operate during the winter? What are you guys doing right now in the greenhouse? Because now is spring. For the last couple of weeks, we have been planting, we have been potting up, we have been taking things to the greenhouse. I thought this would be an excellent opportunity for me to take you around the greenhouse, show you what we have changed from the winter, what is growing, what our plans are in there for the summer, and show you a little bit of our homestead. Kind of the problems that we have now in the spring. Hopefully we can solve them, and some of the projects that we actually want to do around here this summer. There's quite a few of them, so we will have to see which ones we get done this year. So let's take you around and show you what's happening here on our homestead in Mongolia. But first thing I need to do is turn the fans off because it gets a little bit loud. It's not that loud, it's only like 42 dB, but when I got the camera, I won't be able to talk properly to you guys. So we will see. It's 26 degrees in with the fans. The fans work really well, especially now when it's getting warmer in the days in here. It keeps the consistent temperature. Of course, we have the linear actuators running the windows, so if it goes above 26 degrees, at least the windows will open automatically and keep the temperature there. Now that the fans are off, the windows are going to open up soon because it's going to get really hot in here really fast. So the question was kind of like, how has the temperatures been during the winter? Actually, surprisingly enough, this winter in Mongolia was probably the mildest we've had in quite a few years. So I think the lowest temperature that we had in here was 8 degrees, and that was at nighttime when it was, I think, we had 1 week where we kind of got to about minus 30 degrees centigrade at night, and it was 8 degrees in here. It really helped that we didn't actually have such a cold winter, so the battery stayed charged much longer. We didn't have to deplete the battery, which is really cool since we were able to overwinter things that we couldn't overwinter last year. So this has definitely been one of the best winters that we've had here in Mongolia for this greenhouse. So let me take you around the greenhouse, show you what we've got growing and what our plans are for the spring and the summer here in the winter greenhouse. So when you come into our greenhouse, here on the left-hand side, we actually have some different things. These are actually fig trees. I think in total we have around 11 of them. And what we did in November is we just trimmed it down, and now we're going to have all the new growth that is coming through, because figs will only come on the new growth. These are 3 years old, so hopefully we will get figs from that this year. Here we have an apple tree. Don't know what apple it is, but we might actually end up using the root stock and kind of finding an apple tree good here in Mongolia and using this as the rootstock. Down here we have a couple of my chilies, just a few of them. All of these down here, these are sweet peppers. I think these are F1 California sweet peppers. Soon they need to be potted up. Some more fig trees. Here is a pomegranate bush. Here is our biggest fig tree, which we put into a pot. Here's all the new growth. So I think we should get figs this year, which is absolutely going to be fantastic. I have quite a few recipes that I want to use in fig trees. In the front side, on the left of our greenhouse, here we have lots and lots of dill. I think, how many do I have? 7 or 8 pots of dill. I also have some dill inside the beds over there. I did a lot of pots of dill because I want to actually try and plant them outside, because I do think they will overwinter here in Mongolia. So that's going to be experiment this year. Of course, we have our rosemary bush at the back there. That's about 4 years old. It's getting lots and lots of new growth. And then down the front of our bed, well, at the moment we're just using it all for chilies. We have more chilies there. Of course, you guys know we started our own chili sauce company. So we have a lot more chilies this year than we did last year. Last year, I think we only had around 60 chili plants. This year we have about 500, and they're all doing absolutely fantastic. What do we have here? Here we have a habanero, and it's soon, yeah, the roots are coming out. So soon this is going to be needed to be potted up again. So that's going to be really, really fun. They're looking absolutely beautiful. Here we have all our 4 raised beds in the middle, which are empty except for the last one. Actually, we've planted in the middle, so we've rotated it this year. In the middle, we've planted all our tomato plants, so a mixture of tomato plants. And then on this bed on the right-hand side and the bed on the left-hand side, we are going to put some cucumbers. In the front of the bed as well, here we have our zucchini. So normally we plant 2 zucchinis in the front of the bed, and we can have it kind of sprawling over. So we will probably have these for 1 or 2 months, and then we'll change them again, because you want to kind of have rotations of zucchini plants. So we can walk our way down here. Lots and lots and lots of chilies. I think last year we only had 7 varieties of chilies. This year we have about 24 different varieties of chilies, so a lot more. All our tomatoes. And on this side, in the front here, where of course we have some spring onion growing. We have nothing in the middle for now, but we have stuff planted inside the house. So they're going to be putting some pok choy and different salads for the spring. Over here we have our parsley bush. So it needs to be trimmed back as well. Here we have some coriander, well, cilantro, but it's already gone to flower. So I'm actually just keeping it so that I can collect the seeds and have coriander in the kitchen. On the behind it over here, of course, we have some more parsley, and we have our sage bush. Over there, we have another rosemary bush. We have 2 pots over here with oregano. We have an oregano bush inside there as well, but I really wanted to do it in pots this year. So maybe I can have a couple of herbs. I've got parsley in pots as well. I want to have a couple of herbs closer to the house so I don't have to come out every single time. There in the corner is a bit of a mistake. There is some mint growing and it is spreading everywhere. So this summer I'm going to have to dig it all out so it's not there. Of course, we have some more chilies. And on this side, we have all our asparagus. Kind of the asparagus season has come to an end. We didn't have a very long asparagus season. Now we're getting all the ferns. I know some people say, like, why are you having asparagus in the greenhouse? It just takes so much space. Yeah, that's something I'm going to think about for the future. Maybe I'm going to take these asparagus stalks out and plant them somewhere else. In this bed as well, of course, we have the 2 zucchinis, which are newly planted in the front. And they're going to grow really, really fast. I still have spinach and salads left over from the winter. Soon we're going to harvest this all so we can get our cucumbers in. Then moving down, this is the passion fruit vine. Last year we weren't so successful with the passion fruit. It dropped in temperature a little bit too much in here, but this year it's done very, very well. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to have some this year. Moving to the back, here we have quite a selection of different things. There is our strawberries. So we're going to propagate those and grow them more on. And we have a lot of pomegranate and goji berries that are now 3 years old. So we need to pot them up. I think we have way too many pomegranates. So we're going to be giving some away or selling them to somebody who wants them. Here we have our fruit trees. This one is a clementine. We also have a lemon tree, another type of clementine as well. Then we have, here is our lemon tree. Then, of course, we have some more fig trees, which are really starting to get new growth on it, which is absolutely fantastic. This here is our guava fruit, a guava tree. I think we have about 4 or 5 of them, and it's getting beautiful new growth. So definitely some guavas this year. Really looking forward to it. Of course, we have a lot of extra tomatoes. I don't know exactly how many we have, but we want to grow, of course, as many tomatoes as we can. Here we have, of course, some more zucchinis, because they grow so fast, so big, and we had a couple of extra ones, so we just put it into pots. Here is our artichokes. We have 6 plants. They have survived in the winter. It was a bit touch and go, but they actually survived, which I'm really glad about. Artichokes, they kind of need 2 years until they start producing really nice artichokes. So they'll be in here just for a little bit longer, and then we will put them inside the summer greenhouse outside, because here it's a little bit too high humidity for them. They like it a little bit drier. But yes, they're doing well for now. Really, really happy. If I can cook some artichokes freshly grown, that will make my year. Absolutely make my year. Very, very nice. The tomatoes that we have in these beds, I think we planted them a little bit too late. We could have actually put them here probably around 3 weeks ago. But of course we were having Lunar New Year's again, so we didn't really have time to sort them all out. It's fine, but they could be about this high by now. So timing is always a struggle to know exactly when to do it, how to get things out. Actually, in this bed, I wanted to tell you, we did an experiment this winter with growing some brassicas. We actually had to take them all out because we needed to get the tomatoes in, but they did very, very well. We had in there some broccoli, cabbage, Romanesco, and some cauliflower. The cauliflower and the Romanesco did very, very well. The broccoli started to come, and then kind of as soon as it warmed up here, it warmed up here so fast as soon as the sun starts shining. So they went to flower, and the cabbage went to flower. So it was a bit of hit and miss, but definitely Romanesco and cauliflower worked. So I think next year we will plant more of that. And we have still a couple of things kind of here and there in the greenhouse. We have some mint in pots and things like that, some horseradish. We still have quite a lot of things inside that we kept. We always keep a little bit of backup of everything inside the house in case something doesn't survive during the winter here, which actually everything did, which is great. But we have a lot of things in the house that we need to bring out. Plus we kind of steadying our growing, so we're growing a lot of things in different stages. Of course, we started with the chilies in January, and that kind of took out the whole house. And then we're starting our next round of vegetables, and then we're going to start a bunch of flowers as well. So yes, all in all, very happy so far with how this winter greenhouse has performed this year. Now I want to show you a little bit outside about what's going on and some of the projects that we need to get done this summer. So on this side of the greenhouse, 2 years ago we actually put a concrete flooring down. So the plan is actually to build a little seed room outside here so that we can have 2 doors, one door at the back, one door at the front, and that would lead into the greenhouse. Just because also these kind of double window plastic glass doors, they're not very good. So it leaks a lot of coldness. So we want to have a separate room. So you go into that room before you go into the greenhouse. That's going to hold the temperature quite a lot, and we can keep a lot of things out here. So we want to start that project this year. At least start the concrete brick surrounding. I think we're going to do concrete bricks to about this high, and then wood, and match it, make it all match and look really nice. There's a couple of things at the back here as well. we have this section. Now it's actually just turning into mud. But the idea is I want to build 2 raised beds, one on the left, one on the right, with some nice gravel pathways. And we can use that for planting all different things. I want to put some like metal trellises on the wall so we can grow like beans and all different things. So that's a project that need to happen as soon as the ground is defrosted in the next month or so, and make it look a little bit nicer here, because it's a mess, an absolute mess. Let's have a look in the front. Last year we were able to sort out this area, kind of make little beds, so it looks a hell of a lot nicer. The biggest thing that we're actually thinking about changing this spring is outside in the front garden here. We have 7 rows. We kind of do our leeks, our carrots, our celery, radishes, beetroots, all things like that, kind of root crops. But the problem with these rows are they're really great, nice to have, but really actually hard to maintain, because we have so many weeds, we have grass growing through here. So we spend so much time in the beginning of the summer and during the summer as well, kind of weeding and weeding. I know you're always going to have that, but maybe we want to do something a little bit different. So the idea we kind of playing around with is actually changing this whole front section and making them raised beds. So we can have raised bed gardening, kind of what we did in our summer greenhouse. Maybe we go 30 centimeters high and turn these 7 beds into kind of 7 long rows or 14 half rows, which will give us a little bit more space to plant. Plus we can kind of put some gravel down or some plastic or something to stop the weeds in between on the rows. Yes, I think it would look really, really nice, and make our job a lot easier. So that's something that we're considering to do over the next month or so. In the front here, now that all the snow is melting, it's an absolute mess. We had this problem last year. We had a plan, or we still have a plan to fix it, but we couldn't do everything in 1 year. Here we kind of put the picket fence, so that helped that we didn't crash our cars with too much snow. But kind of working on this area here that we want to change a lot. And once we kind of fix that area, this will sort out this area too, because all the water, our property is an angle. So all the water from the mountains or from the neighbors or anything, that all flows through our land. So instead of having a slight angle, we kind of elevating everything around, which is helping with the water. But it's a mess now, but there's nothing really we can do about it, about putting some things down. But when everything dries up, we can scrape it down and actually sort it out properly. So one thing we want to focus on this year is sorting out this kind of front section in front of the solar panels. Started to work on it last year, but there's a lot more work to do. Of course, we want to elevate this section, kind of put in a row of like concrete blocks, elevate the section so the water doesn't flow down. Plus, it's a lot of space that we can use. We've just been using it for like compost piles. So I think a decent compost bins would be nice to go here. Maybe a couple of raised beds, so that we can put some berry bushes or different types of vegetables here as well. It's quite a big space. Of course, we can't go too tall. We don't want to block the solar panels, but it's definitely space that we can utilize and make it look a lot nicer. At the back here, we have our pumpkin trellis. So we built this last year. We tried pumpkins for the very first time. It was hit and miss. We started the pumpkins a little bit too soon, and then we got frost and they died. So we had to plant them again. But they were actually pretty successful, even though it was the first time doing it. But we kind of got to see what pumpkins we like and what pumpkins we don't like. So I think we're going to do more of the ones we do like, and plus start them a little bit later so that we don't lose any to frost. But it's worked very, very well. Extremely happy with it. Only thing I would like to do is just maybe add on a little bit more metal at the bottom. It'll make it easier kind of starting the pumpkins to have something to grab on. So that's something we can kind of improve. Plus, at this back here, it's an absolute mess. And hopefully we can do a little bit of work behind here as well. At the back here, of course, we have our chicken coops. If you've been following our channel for a while, you know that we don't actually have any chickens at the moment. We want to get chickens back as soon as possible so that we can have egg production, but we didn't have them in the winter. So we're going to move this chicken coop and kind of do some renovations at the back here. There's space for one more greenhouse we're going to put in later on this year, so we'll have some more growing space, and we will put the chicken coop in a more permanent place, and we can have our chickens back. So when we start this project, we'll go a little bit more into more detail exactly what we want to do. But we have a driveway for the cars, so we want to use this space so we can actually drive our cars in here and not inside the front. So a lot of work's going to happen here, but when we start this project, we'll go into more detail exactly what we're going to do. Still a lot of work. So that's a little view of what's happening on our homestead, how our greenhouse is doing, what we're planting. Of course, we have a lot more things that we need to plant. But now that it's spring and we're going into the summer, like every year, I'm feeling very optimistic about some of the projects that we got to get done. But over the last couple of months or over this winter, both me and Zula have been taking some time to really work on ourselves, to kind of focus a little bit on our health and focus on having some more motivation to keep doing what we're doing, to keep moving forward. So with lots of optimism, there's a lot of projects that we want to get done. Hopefully we can get most of them done, but we have to be a little bit realistic so that we can put our finances into the right place to kind of do a little bit every single year to improve how this place looks and to be more functional so that we can be more self-sufficient and more self-sustaining. But really exciting. Really looking forward to getting back to work, and hopefully this summer we can make a lot more videos, take you along on our journey here in Mongolia. Guys, I just want to say thank you so much for all of your recent comments and new subscribers to our channel. It means so much to us that we can share our lives and our experiences and projects with you. So guys, we're going to end the video here. I look forward to reading some of your comments, and we will see you really soon in the next one. Bye.